The IRS charged tens of millions of Americans penalties and interest during COVID, and a federal court just ruled that they shouldn't have. That means you may be owed money. And here's the thing nobody is talking about. There is a hard deadline of July 10th, 2026 to file your claim. After that date, the money is gone permanently. So, in the next few minutes, I'm going to tell you exactly who qualifies, how much we're talking about, and what you need to do right now if you paid any late fees and penalties. Okay, quick background story here because this matters. When COVID hit in 2020, the federal government declared a national disaster. And by law, federal law that is, IRS was supposed to suspend certain tax penalties and extend deadlines during the disaster period. The problem? They didn't fully do that. They kept right on charging failure to file penalties, failure to pay penalties, and interest all the way from January 20th of 2020 through July 10th of 2023. That's nearly 3.5 years. Now, a U.S. Court of Federal Claims decision, the case was Kwon versus United States, it ruled that those penalties may have been improperly assessed, and the National Taxpayer Advocate, which is essentially an independent watchdog inside of the IRS, is now saying that this could affect tens of millions of taxpayers. We are talking about over 120 million penalties that were assessed during that period. In one fiscal year alone of 2022, the IRS collected more than $12 billion in these kinds of penalties. So, do you qualify? Okay, here's the part that you actually came for, and that's really important. Let me walk you through who qualifies. Number one, you filed a tax return late at any point between January 20th, 2020 and July 10th of 2023. Number two, you paid penalties for filing late or paying late during that window. Number three, you owe penalties from that period. Even if you haven't paid them yet, you may be able to get those wiped out entirely. Who doesn't love that? Number four, this isn't just individuals though. This is if you own a small business, a corporation, an estate, or a trust, you may qualify. It covers income from tax, employment tax, estate tax, gift tax, excise tax, you name it, tax. Now here's the part of what this does not cover. This, to be clear, because there's a lot of confusion online, this is not about stimulus checks. This, if you missed out on a stimulus payment, that is a completely different situation with a completely different deadline, most of which those deadlines have already passed. This is specifically about penalties and interest that the IRS charged during the COVID disaster period. And one more thing, the IRS is not going to contact you. They are not sending letters. They are not calling you. If you qualify, you have to file a claim. You have to know that you qualify for this. You have to do it. So what do you actually do? Step one, pull your IRS account transcripts for the tax years 2019, 2020, 2021, and 2022. You can do that at irs.gov. Just create an account or log into one. You look under tax records and you're looking for any penalties or interest assessed during the COVID period. Step two, you'll file a form that is called Form 843. That's the claim, refund, and request for abatement. This is how you formally tell the IRS, hey, you shouldn't have charged me this, give it back. Step three, and this is important, the deadline is July 10th, 2026. The reason that specific date matters is the math. The COVID disaster period officially ended July 10th of 2023, and the IRS gives you 3 years from that point to file a refund claim. 3 years from July 10th of 2023 lands exactly on July 10th, 2026. Miss it and you forfeit whatever you're owed. There are no extensions. There are no exceptions. My strong recommendation here, don't try to navigate this alone. This situation is still developing legally. The IRS hasn't fully accepted the court's reasoning yet, so there's some uncertainty here. You want to talk to a CPA or a tax professional who's familiar with these specific issues. Some are filing what is called a protective claim, which basically preserves your rights while the law continues to get sorted out. Look, I know taxes are not exactly fun to think about. They kind of suck to deal with. They make it complicated. But this is one of those situations that, if it gets a little bit of your attention, it could put real money back in your pocket. We're not talking about a small technicality here. The National Taxpayers Advocate is publicly warning people about this. That's unusual. That tells you something is significant here. If you paid IRS penalties at any point between early 2020 and mid 2023, go check your transcripts this week, not next month, this week. If you found this helpful, though, be sure to share it with somebody else who maybe had gotten any kind of fees from the IRS. Because remember, the IRS is not going to tell you. They're not going to try to give money back to you. Drop your comments below. Let me know. Are you going to file a claim for yourself? And I'd love to know. I'd love to know how much people are actually getting back on this. Until next time, have a great day. And remember, think differently, take control, be a renegade.